Hello there, and welcome into my sports talk show. I am your host, Carl Achin Jr., joined by a special guest this afternoon on my sports talk show, Paige Cook, a sports journalist student at Arizona State. How you doing today, Paige?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Um, how you been feeling after the COVID?
I'm feeling better. Just a little tired. Definitely killed with the holidays, but is what it is.
Now, what got you started into what sport did you like when you were a little girl? What got you into sports?
So I started playing softball, soccer, and golf growing up, and I knew I wouldn't be going into like becoming a pro athlete. So I was like, okay, what can I do instead of becoming an athlete, essentially? So I chose to go into that journalism realm because I love to write, love to talk, love to speak, and I love social media. So I was like, okay, I want to combine my love for sports, my love for journalism, and that's kind of how where I got started as far as what I want to do for my career.
Now, what's your favorite course you took so far down at the Walter Cronkite School of Broadcasting?
My favorite course I took when I was in my undergrad was probably sports campaigns and marketing. We worked with the Diamondbacks to kind of figure out how can they bring more fans in. As you know, Arizona Diamondbacks play Chase Field, and it holds about 32,000 people, and they're lucky if they can get six or seven on a standard night. So they definitely have some ticketing issues. So we kind of worked towards what are those ideas? What can we do? And my team pitched different events that the Diamondbacks could host, including, a Dad Daughter Day, a campaign with the local zoo in Arizona to kind of bring in people to the games. And some of the other stuff they included was, a Caesar Sportsbook that opened there. How can you get more sign-ups for sports betting and all that? So kind of just focusing on that sort of aspect. I love that. And I think definitely it's what changed is what influenced me to get my grad degree in public relations.
Now, what was your favorite part of your internship when you were over at ABC6? You know, I've been there before. I'm buddies with the sports director now.
Okay. So I definitely loved my first day. They sent me to the Bruins game and they played I believe it was the Islanders they were playing in the playoffs. They lost, which was a bummer, but like it was so cool to even go. And I loved going to Patriots training camp all summer, reporting on that, both, writing scripts for it, doing all the social media live tweeting and everything, and just seeing the amount of work that goes in to prepare for a season.
Now, Bill Belichick, I'm not sure if this is getting off subject, but I'm not sure if you ever knew this. I know people that monitor his behavior. I know people that know him well. He has Asperger's.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I figured that one out. I can see that because like when he runs off the field during the 18-0 year, but he's a genius when it comes to football, but not a genius was what happened with him and Tom Brady.
Not one bit. But
Yeah,
so it was definitely a cool experience. I'm very grateful for it.
yeah, yeah. Now, you live in Cumberland, so that was probably not that far of a drive.
Not one bit. It's actually a 20-minute ride. We have to Route 1, so it's perfect.
I was down there before. You've seen the photos probably.
Mhm.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Nick and I are buddies. But I went to UMass. I did my journalism thing. People say stick with one career because I also like the security guys that travel with the Yankees, the team security guys. I'm buddies with
Mhm.
those guys. As you know, that uh, my nickname's the mayor, so people know me.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Now, have you got to host any of the Cronkite sports news on PBS? I've heard that they're on PBS.
Yeah, so Arizona State has a partnership with PBS based out of Arizona. And I actually chose not to go the broadcasting route after that internship. So I just realized like sports broadcasting wasn't for me. So to get and stay involved with the whole sports realm, I actually got into sports photography. So I was shooting all the games, basketball, volleyball, um, baseball, softball, lacrosse, soccer, you name it, I was there shooting. And our photos would be published to one of our multiple student run organizations. So I was like, it was so cool to just be down on the field or on the court with players that are going to make it professional. And I was really blessed to even have that opportunity to expand my knowledge. I had never touched a camera before I joined the club, and I learned so much. And now I do sports photography on the side. I go shoot kids and everything.
Now, you also do a photography thing on the side. You were telling me you have your own photography business where you shoot like John Smith wants his photo done at his wedding, and you go there, something like
Yeah,
that.
essentially. So that all started just because of sports, and it's so difficult to get into the sports realm as a freelance photographer because you have to spend money on lenses that are 10, 12 grand, and I can't afford that being coming out of school. So I was like, okay, how can I combine these? So I started my own business. And like I said, I had parents that call me like, hey, you want to come shoot juniors hockey game? You want to shoot juniors baseball game? So I have had the opportunity to shoot some sports still. Not the kind of sports I love, but it's still sports at the end of the day, and they're there watching. So I love that.
Kind of scary to people I know, and they drive by my exit going to you go up to Purgatory, and I live in Douglas, so I'm not that far from Purgatory, and I that's why I learned how to drive when I got my license. But it's kind of scary. You go up there, and I'm at here.
Yeah,
Now what? Now, do you like baseball?
I love baseball. Baseball is actually kind of why I got into sports journalism. I wanted to be a sideline reporter for Nesson covering the Red Sox. Kind of changed from that now, just because the Red Sox are really aggravating me and their front office moves and how the team's playing. I'm like, what are you doing? But at the end of the day, I'm still faithful. So yeah, definitely a big baseball person.
You know how I feel about baseball. You've seen my baseball stuff.
I have,
Big New Yorker.
yes. Do you think Aaron Judge will sign again with the Yankees? Do you think he's
Hopefully,
going to go somewhere else?
I hopefully he signs back. But
Yeah.
the stealing of the signs, the Houston Astros,
Hmm.
I hate them, but I got the World Series on DVD. I shouldn't say I hate them because I'd be being prejudiced on the show. But I was happy for Dusty Baker because Dusty Baker's a very religious man. I know he's a Christian. I know people that know him. Plus, I read about him. Very religious man. Went to the World Series. Lost was Barry Bonds and the Giants. So I was happy for him. And my buddy Joe, I think it's Estrada. I'm not 100% sure. He was the third base coach for the Yankees. He's the bench coach for the Astros. And we got connected with a mutual friend that does media for the Yankees, Joe. So I've talked to Joe and stuff, and I was happy for him. He's the bench coach, but I was not happy for all the rest of the Astros like Altuve because I can't stand that guy.
I can't stand Altuve either. I just, I tell you, I don't know how people support the Astros. I'm sorry.
And you know what I find funny is and the commissioner comes out and says, "Well, the Red Sox were cheating, the Dodgers were cheating, the Yankees were cheating. How would they in 17? How would they cheat if the Astros beat the Red Sox? The Yankees went to a game 7, but lost to the Astros, and then the Dodgers lost in game 7. How
Hmm.
can you say they're cheating?"
I agree. I think it's just so politicized now too. It's like you need to get Manfred out of there. You need a reconstruction of the whole league and just the front offices and the GM's office up top for the commissioner, not GM.
A lot of people don't like him. I can't be subjective being in the media, but a lot of people I know players that I'm friends with current players playing for teams or former players, like and a lot of the players say, "Hey, Carl, if I see him at the stadium, I can't stand that guy," and there's fans that can't stand him. So my adopted aunt comes down on Tuesdays and Thursdays Tuesdays and Fridays. I feed her on Friday night, but she says, "How come they can't get rid of him?" I said, "Well, it's not like voting for the president of the United States or or governor or something."
Hmm. What's nice is he did listen, I think, to what some people wanted as far as the rule changes for next season, which is good. That's definitely a step in the right direction. But I think it's, sports has become so politicized. There's so many political influences that I think leagues are trying to determine, okay, do we get involved? Do we not? An example is, the NBA gets involved after George Floyd and during the bubble with COVID, but you have the NFL kind of stays on the sidelines, or the NHL or the MLB or the MLS. But I think it's just so difficult. And you have these commissioners that are put in these positions during unprecedented times. They never experienced, but thought we'd hit a pandemic. I don't think anyone did. Um, so they're definitely trying to figure it out day by day, but it's hard because, we'll all say someone's unqualified, but then it's like, okay, well, who do you think is qualified then? And nobody can answer.
I think the problem was the Red Sox, and I'm a good friend of Lenny Donardo's. He played for you guys in '04, was part
Mm-hmm.
of that World Series. Him and I talked. But I think the problem with the Red Sox is the hiring of Heim Bloom. They should have never hired him. I feel like he's a poodle the way he dresses up, and
Heim Bloom came in here trying to do what he did in Tampa. Tampa's a small market, so obviously you can bring in players that aren't very established. And yeah, you won a World Series like that. Good for you, but that's not going to work in a market like Boston. Boston is so dedicated. We're so big. Now we're having issues. The fans want to keep Bogarts and Devers, but it's like, I'm saying we can only keep one or the other. Well, when that happens, you're signing people that aren't good. You're signing pitchers that have never hit the big leagues. They're still in, single A, double A. You're just, there's not, he's trying to do what he did in small market. He can't do that here, and he doesn't realize it. It's not just him though, it's other people in the front office. Um, I definitely think bringing Cora back was a smart idea. I really personally like Cora. Um, but it's just difficult because, everyone's complaining that we lost Benintendi. Well, yeah, he did great with the Royals, but look what happened when he signed with the Yankees. He's another one. He's a player that's not meant to play in a big market. I love him, but he's not meant to play in a big market. So it's kind of difficult.
my hero growing up was Alex Rodriguez. I loved him. I got his
Yeah.
autograph. He sent me a photo autograph, and a lot of people says, "That's your role model." I says, "I've always liked him." I said, "Him and I have similar backgrounds. I always love him. Great guy. Always been good to me."
Hmm. Yeah, he's got a bad rep, unfortunately, though. I feel bad. He's a very good player.
But he's also a woman's man.
That he is.
You know, and also David Ortiz. Look what happened to the poor man. I was talking to one of my friends, Jose Rue. He used to play for the Yankees years ago. And long story short, Vladimir Guerrero Sr. married his daughter. So Vladimir
Hmm.
Guerrero Jr. is not his grandson. But so I was talking to him and for a friend, and we're on the phone. And he says, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is not my grandson because he's not as good looking as my new because his daughter he married Vladimir Guerrero Sr. But
Hmm.
David Ortiz, David Ortiz, we were talking about. He knows David Ortiz's father. I said David Ortiz's father is more like down there than David Ortiz. He had to hire Boston cops as security now.
Wow. So it's just, I don't know. I love him. I love Big Papi. I actually went out to Cooperstown for the induction. So
Oh, you went there
definitely
this
it was,
year?
yeah, for the induction to watch him. It was just crazy, That's what I grew up watching, playing baseball. That was my guy.
My guy was Joe Torre, the Yankees manager.
Okay.
I started watching in
Interesting.
'04, and I was so loyal. I was a Yankees fan down deep inside, but when they fired him, I went to LA and I watched, and I went to Philadelphia, and I loved that ballpark. And I had players signing for me. I saw Roy Halladay when he was playing. He acknowledged me, and that's the
Hmm.
time I only wanted the visitors to sign. So I never got his autograph. I probably could have. But now I get
Mhm.
all the players to sign, and I'm friends with numerous Orioles players from meeting them at the stadium, and I'm friends with
Mhm.
them on Facebook.
Yeah, it's
So
definitely
what?
cool.
So what's? Do you like the Celtics?
I am a Celtics fan. Big. I like Jason Tatum. Definitely, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown. I think the Celtics could really go far this year. Maybe not a title, but definitely in the finals again.
Golden State Warriors are dangerous.
But Steph Curry is quite a matchup.
Yeah, but I'm a Lakers guy. I just grew up a
Okay.
Lakers guy. I was a Yankees fan in '96, so I was 4 years old. But I did well go back to the Yankees after Joe retired. But and I
Mhm.
met Don Mattingly, which was a cool experience.
Mhm.
But the Lakers, there's something wrong with them. I never
Right
saw a
now,
team that they're playing like Bozo the Clowns, if you know what I mean.
yeah, and you see you have players coming out saying, "Oh, we need so and so or so and so to win." It's like you need more than just a person to win. You need that dynamic. I really don't think they have that team dynamic that the Celtics might have or the Warriors might have. It's all about how can you work together in a sport. It's not a me sport, especially basketball. And I think having big names on teams sometimes can make like numerous big names on teams, if they don't have that solid connection, they're looking at as I'm your competitor, you're my competitor, and all that.
How's the weather down there?
So in
Uh,
Arizona,
yeah.
I'm home right now, but it's beautiful. It's been
So you're
really
not in
nice.
Arizona.
No, so I graduated from Arizona last year. So I'm now obtaining a master's degree from Boston University.
So how what are you maintaining at Boston University master's degree?
Public relations. So I want to enter the sports and entertainment realm.
Oh, so like the PR people.
Yep,
I know them
media
pretty well.
relations, all that. Yeah,
Public
it's definitely that's the end goal. Like I said, journalism just I loved it, but the lifestyle wasn't for me. I can't do those late nights. I can't do, it doesn't pay a lot, unfortunately. Um, so I want something where I can feel secure in my job in a few years and be like, okay, I move out, time to get a place, all that.
I have friends in the media relations department, and some like the Red Sox send me a guide, and only because I'm in the media. So that's the Red Sox. My friend. It was Gregor or whatever. He left, so somebody else has sent me one this year. The Yankees sent me one. The Rays did. The Pirates. The rest, I have a friend in the MLB front office that does public relations, like you want to do, and
Mm-hmm.
he had another guy print out a bunch of the media guides, and then my mom and my aunt and my adopted aunt and other people hole punched them for me, and I have books and I put covers.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. I like
Yeah,
that.
because a lot of them now have gone green. I have a few
Yeah.
contacts, but a lot of them have gone green.
Mm-hmm.
I think if the Yankees, I think if the Yankees had George Steinbrenner, he would have been locked up for sure.
I agree. Totally.
I feel like other than the one year that they won at the stadium, and I did root for them because the Phillies kicked the Yankees out. They kicked the Dodgers out. So I did root for him. But I met Kershaw before, nice, wonderful human being.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever met any? Oh, have you been up? Have you when they used to be at McCoy? Did you get to go see him down there?
I used to go to the Paw Sox quite some time. I loved the Paw Sox. It was really bang for your buck, but that stadium, the land it's on, is not a good piece of land. The people of Pawtucket, baseball is not what's for them. Um, that's been a big controversy in Rhode Island that the Paw Sox left, but I see how it is. And I actually went to the Blue Sox Polar Park, was not impressed. I was just very disappointed by that experience. Um, it's unfortunate because I feel like it's such a money draw right now. That's kind of where we at is how much money can we make? How much money can we make off fans? So you're making the experience not as enjoyable or family affordable as it used to be.
I went there, and that's the year, the year when A Rod retired mid-season, and the next day
Hmm.
Tyler Austin and Aaron Judge came up that year, and they got the
Hmm.
home runs back to back. I met Aaron Judge that year down at Pawtucket, and I had Major League Baseballs. I'm trying to get him over and blah blah blah. And I finally said, "Oh, I know the Yankee security guys," and he smiled and he laughed about it. They're friends with me, Eddie Fastnick and Big Mark Kefelis. The
Hmm.
Big Mark Kefelis. He's the Italian guy, former
Hmm.
FBI, but uh, Eddie's been there for years. He was George Steinbrenner's bodyguard, but he came over and laughed, and he signed for me. So I have him on the official baseball from Pawtucket. And I haven't been up to the Wu Sox because I'm so angry after what they did to Pawtucket.
Yeah, so people definitely try and ban and not ban, blame Rhode Island for it. And unfortunately, like we had no control. Our governor at the time, she really tried, like, hey, what can we do? But from day one, the Red Sox organization as a whole said, we're going to move our team to Worcester. They built a state of the art stadium, which Pawtucket wasn't willing to do at the time. Um, they have a bigger demographic there. You know, the trains go from Boston back and forth. Um, Whereas, like in Pawtucket, there's really nothing else around. I know, like you said, you've been there. There's really nothing in that area where this new soccer stadium they're proposing, they're building a full village almost for it. So there'll be shops, restaurants, um, an ample amount of parking, hotels, and all that. But the Paw Sox didn't have that. So that's kind of why I think, too, the whole economic situation definitely played into the reason for them wanting to go to Worcester.
I feel like the Paw Sox were not in a bad section, but now that they're up in Worcester, I know people that used to live up in the apartments and stuff there, and I have friends that live up there and stuff, and that's a bad section with gangbangers and everything else. I don't. The cops must love it because they get to get overtime, but I don't know how safe I'd feel walking at a nighttime game out there, kind of like New York.
Yeah, so it was definitely, I would feel much safer in Pawtucket than I felt when I was in Worcester. And we went for a day game, and it's just, yeah, you're in a decent, like out of all Worcester, it's a decent area, but some of the worst traffic there. The Squirton, I think it counts for like some of the most accidents in the country or something. Um, so it's definitely, I don't think it was well thought out or planned.
I drove up there before. Was my driving instructor a while ago back, and him and I stayed friends. So we still talk and stuff. He lives in the next
Hmm.
town over, Webster. I live in Douglas. But
Hmm.
would you be interested? Let's say the Red Sox offered you a job in the PR department. Would you take that?
Most definitely. That is end goal to work for a Boston team. Currently waiting to hear back. I applied for an internship for the spring with the Celtics in their communications and media department. So waiting to hear if that goes anywhere.
We'll see. We'll see, because then you'll be my contact to ask for a media guide if you're there, because I have friends. But now that you and I are friends, I can ask you and see if you can do something.
I got you, Carl.
Yeah. The Lakers have sent me stuff before. I haven't heard from them in a while, but the South the Red Sox, I feel like have been the best media relations department for me, even though I'm not a
Hmm.
Sox fan.
Yeah, I definitely think everyone I've ever encountered with the Red Sox and FSM, Fenway Sports Management, they are wonderful people, very genuine. They always want to help. They love to connect and network, and they definitely want to help kids and students attempting to reach the sports realm.
Now, did you know my friend's daughter, Dave Miller, Sammy Miller? Were you down there when she was started?
At ASU, I know of Sammy. Yeah, she's a few years younger than me.
Yeah, I'm friends with her on Facebook, but I'm a good friend of her father's through networking and stuff.
Hmm. Definitely one of the most important things to do in the sports industry is
Yeah,
network.
and I think you've seen my networking I do with all kinds of players and stuff.
It's all about who you know, not what you know in this industry.
Yep. But you see my networking I've done before, and
hmm
you probably have too.
LinkedIn and Facebook.
Yeah. But also the sports players I'm friends with, current
hmm
sport and former.
Yep.
Let's see, I'm friends with your pitching coach, the Red Sox, Dave Bush.
Okay.
He's a buddy of mine.
Just meeting them through networking.
Yeah, through Facebook and networking.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, and I know some of the Astros guys for networking.
Okay.
So, what do you have to think about when you were in Arizona and now you're at Boston College, Boston University? What
hmm
college was better if you had to promote a girl that was listening to my show or a guy that's listening to my show? Which one would you promote him to go
Oh
to?
wow. I know what I'm thinking. I can tell you right away, but it all depends on what you're looking for. Um, there's strengths and weaknesses to both. I loved my time in Arizona. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Um, ASU gave me so many more opportunities than BU has provided. ASU, the contacts I made for at ASU were just incredible. My professors all had industry experience. They all were willing to network and connect students with who they knew. Um, excuse me. Whereas BU, I'm finding that's not the case. Um, ASU was very sports. They had a sports specific program. Sports journalism was my degree, not just journalism. Where at BU, as I'm trying to do PR, they have no sports classes or entertainment classes. They only have, health, government, nonprofit, all that. And I don't have an interest in that. So it kind of stinks because it's like what I'm looking for is not there. The only reason I went to BU was because I need to move back home, save money to afford it. So I commute to school every day, or not every day, 2 days a week, Monday and Tuesday. But like ASU was just, I think it just depends what you want. If you want journalism, go to ASU because they have one of the top journalism, not just for sports, but anything. They work with PBS, whereas BU, they have other programs that are very strong.
I remember I connected with you through some of my friends down at the Walter Cronkite School. That's how I
hmm
connected with you.
hmm
But I graduated from UMass with a journalism degree.
That's another school that I feel definitely plays well and helps their students out, especially with networking and everything. The few schools
Amherst.
that do that. hmm
And I did most of my stuff. I did most of my stuff online. I did go out there and get to eat at the cafeteria and Abattoir and stuff. But I liked it better online because I could not miss my Yankees game. I could go into bed at night. I could well take care of my chicken because I have a chicken farm.
hmm
That's my other bit. That's my other business on the side. George Steinbrenner years ago, when he was a little kid, his grandfather, not his grandfather, his father said, "You should start to make money. You should own chickens," and that's what he started off to, like what what I'm doing.
Yeah, definitely good money in it.
Yep.
But so yeah, ASU is nothing but wonderful. I recommend it. Going cross country is something I never thought I would do, and I did it, and I would do it all over again.
So you liked it down there.
hmm Like I said, just the opportunities, the fact that they're allowing a student who I was just a kid who never touched a camera before, and I joined this club, and I got to go sit courtside at ASU versus U of A basketball, biggest rivalry. Like that's crazy.
And I'm trying to think. Sammy's brother is a basketball coach. I just can't think of what because I'm friends with Dave. I can't think of what school. Maybe it's not. It's not Arizona Devils. It's not your school.
I don't
Um,
know where it is.
I forget now. But Paige, I need to get going because I have remaining time. 9:51 remaining.
All
So,
right.
Paige, thank you for coming on to my sports talk show. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. Paige, thank you for coming on. Maybe we'll
Of
have you on
course.
again sometime.
Yes, I'd love to join.
Thank you and good luck with your career.
Thank you, Carl. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye.